I never thought the day would come when I'd look at the person I loved most and feel absolutely nothing. Not love, not anger, just a strange, heavy quiet, like my heart had finally stopped trying to hold everything together. Maybe that's how betrayal works. Slow at first, then all at once, like a thread snapping inside you after holding on for too long. My name is Maya, and this is the story of how I uncovered the truth about my boyfriend, the truth that left him speechless, and the truth that finally set me free. It all began on a Wednesday morning, the kind of morning where everything feels slightly off, but you can't explain why. The sunlight felt too bright, the air too quiet, and the coffee tasted a little more bitter than usual. I remember glancing at my phone and noticing Liam hadn't texted me good morning like he always did. At first, it didn't bother me. People get busy, right? But that tiny shift, that little break in pattern, stuck in my mind like a whisper telling me something was wrong. Liam and I had been together for almost 4 years. He was charming in a way that made strangers like him instantly. He had that warm smile, that easy laugh, that gentle way of talking that made you feel like you mattered. I fell hard and fast. Everyone said we were perfect together, and for a long time, I believed it. I believed every sweet word, every promise, every moment he held my hand and told me I was his whole world. Looking back now, I wonder how much of that was real and how much of it was a mask he wore so well. That Wednesday, he told me he'd be working late. Again. He said he had meetings to prepare for, presentations to finish, deadlines he couldn't miss. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But something in his voice felt rehearsed, like he'd practiced that excuse in the mirror before saying it. I brushed the feeling away, but it stayed with me all day, a quiet tension that made my chest feel tight. When someone you love starts sounding like a stranger, your heart knows before your mind is willing to accept it. Later that night, I decided to bring Liam dinner at work because I knew he hadn't eaten. I told myself it was a sweet surprise, but deep down I needed to see something, proof that everything was still the way it used to be. Something to calm the uneasiness twisting inside me. When I reached his office building, the lights on his floor were off. The entire hallway was dark. The kind of dark that tells you nobody's been there for hours. My heartbeat echoed in my ears as I stood in front of his locked office door, clutching a warm bag of food that suddenly felt too heavy. I called him. Once, twice, 3 times. No answer. That's when I knew, not the details, not the whole story. But I knew something was happening behind my back. And once that thought enters your mind, it doesn't let go. On the drive home, memories started replaying like a movie I'd seen before. Moments I'd brushed off, excuses I accepted, times he seemed distracted, nights he pulled away a little too quickly. I'd ignored the signs because loving him felt better than facing the truth. But the truth has a way of showing up, whether you're ready or not. 2 days later, I found the first crack. I was doing laundry when I noticed Liam's shirt had a faint smell of perfume. Not mine, not anything close to mine. My heart sank, but instead of crying, something inside me went cold. Like the part of me that used to hurt finally shut down, making room for something much sharper. A need for answers. A need for the truth he thought he could hide. I knew confrontation wouldn't work. He'd deny everything. He was too good at talking circles around me, too good at making me feel like I was imagining things. So I stayed quiet and I watched. I paid attention to the way he suddenly guarded his phone, the way he stepped outside to take calls, the way he'd smile at messages he claimed were from coworkers. I didn't accuse him. I didn't push. I just observed. Because betrayal exposes itself when you stop trying to force clarity. The truth slips through the cracks on its own. One night, when he fell asleep on the couch with his phone tucked under his arm, I saw my chance. I didn't dig through his messages, though I wanted to. Instead, I opened his cloud backup, something he didn't realize was still synced, and there it was, a series of photos, screenshots, reservations for late meetings, a message from a woman named Alina saying she missed him already. The kind of message you don't send to someone who's just a friend. My fingers went numb as I scrolled. Each image felt like another piece of my world splintering apart. But I didn't cry. Not then. Not when I saw the picture of them at a cafe he told me he hated. Not when I read the message where he said he needed space because Maya doesn't get me anymore. I simply stared at the screen until the room felt quiet enough to hear my own breathing. I realized that the version of Liam I loved wasn't the man lying next to me. He had betrayed me long before I discovered the proof. And even with all the truth right in front of me, he kept lying. That's what hurt the most. Not the cheating, not the messages, but the fact that he looked me in the eyes every day and pretended nothing was wrong. But I didn't confront him. I didn't scream or cry or demand explanations. Instead, I made a plan. Not to hurt him, not in the way he hurt me, but to expose the truth he tried so hard to hide. I wanted him to see what it felt like when the mask he wore finally cracked. Betrayal doesn't need loud revenge. Sometimes the quiet truth is enough to break a person. The following week, I invited Liam out for dinner. He showed up smiling like nothing in the world was wrong. He held my hand, complimented my dress, and kissed my cheek as if the messages I saw didn't exist. I played along, calm, steady, almost peaceful. Because when you already know the truth, their lies become meaningless noise. At the end of dinner, I took out my phone and placed it on the table. He looked confused, then nervous. "Liam," I said softly, "I know everything." His face went pale. His hands shook. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Not even excuses, just silence. Pure, speechless silence. It was the first honest reaction he'd given me in months, and that was all I needed.